Okay, welcome back to Stories from the River. This is your host, Charlie Maloof. And hey, do you know how your parents maybe used to brag on you when you were a kid? And every parent's kind of proud of their children and likes to talk up their accolades and their accomplishments. Well, like a proud parent, I'm going to do a little bit of bragging on Broad River Retail for a moment, if I may.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
Hey, we're in the middle of this Elevate Your Purpose series. If you haven't listened to the Dalvin Salvano series, part 1 or 2, you can go back and do that now. They're launching on Thursdays. And the next one will launch in a couple days here. I think it'll be part 3. We'll be at part 3 of the series by the time this one airs. But we just, we've come out of COVID, and I've done an episode on Healthy Things Grow, and we've talked about our 4 growth strategies here on this podcast, Stories from the River. And I just want to we got recognized, we just hit our 20-year anniversary earlier this year. So we've been around 20 years. You don't really find too many 20-year-old companies that are, in retail that are still being recognized for one of the fastest growing companies in their region or area. And so we got recognized twice. Earlier, a few months back, we got recognized by the Charlotte Business Journal for the Fast 50. And I think that was in late 2022. So that would have been ranking our growth from the past 3 years for companies in the 16 county Charlotte region that covers the Charlotte Business Journal. And so that would have been, I think, 2019 through 2021. And hopefully we'll get ranked again. And then we just got ranked this past week by the state of South Carolina, because we're literally, even though we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, essentially, we are headquartered across the border in Fort Mill, South Carolina. It's part of the Charlotte DMA, but we're in the state of South Carolina for our corporate headquarters. And so we got ranked by the state of South Carolina for one of their 50 fastest growing companies at a luncheon and award that was given this past week in Columbia, South Carolina, that we got to attend. And that was based off of our revenues from 2020 through 2022. And so I don't think growth just happens. I think you have to plan for it. I think you have to plant the seeds for it, be ready for the harvest, work the soil. And I just want to kind of give some accolades to our team, our retail team led by head coach Stacy McCormick and Carl Hillisland, and our wonderful senior retail leadership team who go to work every single day, and all of our retail performance memory makers and our retail operations memory makers and our visual impact and our merchandising team and our marketing team. Those folks are going after it every single day to drive traffic, to set beautiful stores, to get the right assortment, to make the stores beautiful, to make sure that we're operating with precision, and then to make sure that we take care of our guests. And then it doesn't happen if we don't fulfill those promises on the back end. So our operations team led by Tim Klaus, and then you've got Tanya Buskirk, you've got James Willett, you've got Cherie Rivera. And if I go down to naming so many people's names, I'm going to leave some folks out, and I certainly apologize for that. I don't want to leave out anyone's names, but then supply chain led by Brian Dekelnick. And then so I'm doing it anyways. I'm listing people's names anyways. But everyone on the operational side who really kind of makes us make sure that we kind of, from home delivery to supply chain to operations, getting the product out the door and servicing our guests. It doesn't just happen. But then also you've got to renovate stores, you got to remodel stores, you got to make them look great. So you got Tim Sales on facilities and construction, and Janet with her visual impact team, and Manny Rodriguez, my business partner, who kind of oversees all of our store projects. And then you got to open new stores, right? So you've got to grow same stores. Part of growing same stores, which we talked about in those 4 growth strategies, is adding technology, improving systems, improving the sales process, remodeling, renovating stores, bringing them up to the current standard. And then, hey, where's the white space? Go open new stores. Or where's the new concept? Like open Ashley outlets. Or the 4th growth strategy, are there new markets that we can obtain? And so all of those growth strategies have been in play for the last 3 years. And so growth didn't just happen. We really planned for growth. We got recognized for it. 20 years in, we're still one of the fastest growing companies, either in the Charlotte area or in the state of South Carolina. So we're really proud of those accolades. I'm really proud of our team who's really come together. And then, we budget for it. We make sure that we we like to say live within our harvest. So Bill Woodman leading our budgeting team and our finance team and making it all happen with his team to make sure that our accounting is accurate. We're getting the money in. We're budgeting correctly. We're always working on rolling plans, rolling forecasts and projections, and understanding our cash management, understanding our balance sheets, understanding forecasts and budgets. And like we said, our budgeting season begins in July before the next year. And taking those learnings and always applying them. And then, we've got our human capital team, which is probably the secret sauce to our growth, right? Because we're always trying to grow from the inside out. We always say we will grow as far as our people will take us, ... or not. So we better have growth-minded people. So that means we've got to recruit and find right talent for growth-minded people to add people to our growing team. And then also we've got to develop our people. We've got to look for those people who are growing themselves and growing themselves at a faster rate than the company's growing. We've grown 16% compounded annually for the last, 13 years. 16% is pretty good for 1 year. To do that compounded annually 16 years in a row, really proud of that mark. And our quest is to grow 20% compounded annually on the top line and on the bottom line. That's our quest through executing those 4 growth strategies I talked about in a previous episode. But hey, at some point, you just got to pause and recognize your people and celebrate the wins. There's power in celebrating the wins and saying, hey, great job. And, we'll celebrate this for what they represent, but we're still hungry. We still think we're at the base of the mountain. We still are excited about more growth. We still see the sun rising. We're a sunrise company, and we got to challenge ourselves to, in spite of whatever headwinds that we endure, in spite of the how steep the mountain is at times and whatever valleys that we're in at times, we've got to still have a growth-minded outlook that we can grow through any season. And whether it's a pandemic, a global pandemic, and sometimes, you get the tailwinds, the benefits of people being stuck at home and needing furniture or getting stimulus checks and things of that nature. But hey, that's not always the case. So what seeds are we planting today that will be looking around the corner, either in our people or in our recruiting strategies, or the recruiting activities we're doing, the leadership development programs we're doing, or in the new stores that we're thinking about, or the remodels that we're thinking about. So we're going to be really busy in 2024 reinvesting back into the business with technology, with some of the technology that we're looking at, even everyone's looking at AI, but we'll have AI diffused in our business in many ways, but looking through human capital improvements, customer experience improvements, home delivery, how we message to our guests improvements, definitely IT and security improvements. And then also really looking at how we can take our stores up to an elevated standard. We think that the latest store we just opened sets the new standard. Salisbury is the new standard for us. It's an elevated standard. So how can we continue to elevate the rest of our stores? So we've got a few upgrades in mind. We're going to continue to reinvest back into the business, and maybe we'll see those reinvestments in the same year that we make them, and maybe those reinvestments and returns will come in future years. But we're constantly planning for growth, planning for the harvest, and planting the seeds and looking around corners. And so I just want to congratulate our team and acknowledge that got that growth mindset. We want to keep that going. And so we're just going to pause here and do that. All right, catch us back on Thursday and enjoy the next episode in this Elevate Your Purpose series with Davin Salvano. Thanks so much for joining, and go make today a wonderful memory. Thanks so much. Stories from the River.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.